Today we are going to take a quick look at how to install the SignCut software on your computer in order to work with the CorelDraw. So you just go to the SignCutPro.com website and go to SignCut Pro 2 and click Downloads. Then we can download different versions of SignCut. I would recommend to download the latest version, although it's a beta version. The problem with the beta is it will not be signed, so there will be a warning from Windows when you want to install it, but you can just install it anyway because it's safe when you download from the SignCut Pro website. Your Vulcan flatbed cutter will come with a 1-year version of SignCut Pro 2 Premium. After that 1 year, you will need to extend that software, which you can purchase here directly on the SignCut Pro website. Once your download is complete, you just click the file in Chrome. So here's the warning I told you about. So click on More Information and execute anyway. So now the SignCut Pro 2 software will install. Just click the Yes button. Here I have to agree to the license agreement. I can select whether I only want to install SignCut Pro 2 or also the SignCut spooler, which is helpful if you have one master computer and then multiple other computers where you're running SignCut and want to send data from one computer to the computer that is actually connected to your Vulcan flatbed cutter. You can select the folder, let's just install it. And once the installation is complete, it will look for Illustrator and CorelDraw software on the computer and then install the required plugins. What's important for CorelDraw is that you purchase a full version of CorelDraw, so do not use the cheap SE version because they lack the VBA scripting capabilities, which means that SignCut will not work and the plugin won't work. So here we can see SignCut Corel plugin. It has found CorelDraw 2019 64-bit. It is installed. All the other versions are not installed. So when I click continue, it will automatically install the plugin. Same for Illustrator. There it didn't find a version because I don't have Illustrator installed on this computer. Now, once we're done with the installation, we can click the close button. And now we have SignCut installed inside the CorelDraw software. So once I start CorelDraw, it will open, and in the top menu bar, we will see the SignCut plugin. So when I create a new file, A4, here in the top right, we see those three icons. The one is to create contours, the other one will create the registration marks, and this one will send the data to SignCut. So as a demonstration, what we're going to do is just download any file from the internet. So I'm just going to Google some item, just click on pictures, select any image we get from Google. So this is just for demonstration purposes. So I'm just going to save that image. Now here in CorelDraw, I just select import because it's a bitmap file. Where are we? There we go. There's the image. Just select it here. So now we have our image, and now we want to trace around the image. So in order to cut exactly the shape of the image, I select the contour feature. First I should select the image, then create the cutting contour. I can select the distance, how far around I want to cut. So let's say I want to cut 1 millimeter around it with a 1 millimeter gap. Click create. And here we can see how it created the cutting contour that is then supposed to be cut with the Vulcan flatbed cutter. Now, in order to send this data to the Vulcan, we need to create the registration marks. So here we just click create registration marks. I can select which type I want to have. So there are many different brands available. We select the Vulcan one. I can select the size. The Vulcan can understand different sizes, but 5 millimeters default and will work very well. We don't need the QR code for this. but you can optionally, of course, print it together with the registration marks. The X and Y distance is just the distance from your image. So depending on your image, 10 millimeter will be fine. So click Create. And now I have these registration marks around my image. Next thing we're going to do is print the image in order to have the file that we actually, or the paper that we want to cut, the printed image. So we just hit print. And then here on the right, we see our different layers. So now we have one layer which you can activate and deactivate. So this is the actual image. You can also deactivate from printing. Here's the contour. Now in this case, I did print the contour together with it. If you don't want to print the contour that is supposed to be cut, just deactivate the printing symbol here on the right. Now here we can only now see the image. It's of course important that you print the registration marks together with it. So once we're done with that, I deactivate the actual image. So I have only the registration marks and my cutting contour. And then I just click Send to SignCut. Now I only selected the registration marks, obviously. No, there we go. Yeah. See, I deactivated the printing icon here, which means it didn't send the data to SignCut. That's a very common problem that you may run into. Now let's go again. Oh, here we go. We have the registration marks and we have the actual cutting contour. Now, in order to send the data to the cutter, first thing we need to do is select our cutter. So we click the cutter icon here. Here you select as manufacturer the Vulcan. You select your model, which is the FC500 VC in our case. And then as an output device, you select which USB port it's connected to. In this case, it's the USB 010, so it doesn't require any additional software drivers or something. It will just work directly after plugging it in. If the machine is disconnected, the USB port won't be visible, so it's very easy to find the correct USB port. Here in the advanced settings, we can do some calibrations which are usually not required, so just leave that to the default settings. Same here in the driver setup. With read information, we can download the actual information like the serial number, the mainboard version number, machine model, firmware, and so on. Just don't change anything here. By read cutter, we can read the current position of the X and Y here. And with the jog cutter, we can actually move the cutter head to the left and right and to the front and back. By clicking in the center, we can adjust the speed between 1 and 10. Now, once we're done and we're ready to cut, all we need to do is here select the contour cut. So this is for regular cutting without contour cutting. But if you want to cut printed materials, you need to select the contour cutting icon. Here we are in the cutout menu. Here we will see a little simulation of what it will actually do and how it will cut our shape that we want to cut. So what we're doing now is we can go into the advanced settings, and there we can see there are two different items. They are the actual cutting contour, and this, although it's the same color, it's a different object. These are the registration marks, which we don't want to cut, of course. So here in the settings, we select cut in color code, color order. And in the settings for this color, we can now select which tool we want. So if we have an image that doesn't only need to be cut, but has cutting and creasing at the same time, we can select here which of the tools we want to use. And we can also add the tool presets. So if we read from machine, it will automatically read the current settings. And if we go into the tool settings here, we can store some presets. So here we have, for example, a cutting preset, which is stored with the force and the speed of tool number 1, which is usually our knife. And then what we can do is activate the second tool, which is usually done for the creasing. So here we can again select speed and force and call this creasing. So just click Save Toolset. And now we have a cutting and a creasing toolset. I always recommend to store these two settings. So here we have the preset cutting. If I wanted to crease instead, I would just select crease and then I would use tool number 2. Now we have cutting and creasing. Let's click OK. And then once we're ready, we just need to select cut out. Then the knife needs to be set over the first mark, and we need to click the OK button. Make sure before you click OK that you always activate the vacuum pump, because otherwise your media won't be held in place and you can't really start cutting. Yeah, that's about it, how to very easily create a cutting contour for any image that you can download from the internet using a Google image search, for example, and then just import it into CorelDraw, export it to SignCut, and then cut it directly from SignCut. Of course, SignCut offers many, many more different features like reverse creasing, weeding lines, manipulating the images, measuring tools, zooming tools. You can see all that here in the SignCut help section. And here are all the main sections of SignCut. So just go through the help if you need more information. And I hope this video helped you just to get into working with the product and yeah, create your first image just to start working with. Thanks for your attention.